Hello, this is Sarah Compter, President of Synact, and welcome to our webinar today. This is part of our Business Without Barriers series, and we'll be focusing on Microsoft Teams. We will hopefully have a few minutes for questions at the end of the presentation, so certainly use the chat window to send us those questions and we'll do our best to answer them. We'll also be happy to follow up with anyone after the webinar, and we'll be making this available to share with your team members or to watch again if you find it really, really exciting. So before we dive into the features and benefits of Microsoft Teams, let's take a step back to review why it's so important in today's landscape. Across industries and corporate identities, we are actually seeing common trends affecting the culture of work and employees' expectations on what a modern work environment looks like. More than half of the existing workforce already works from home at least once per week. And the companies that encourage this flexible work arrangement are winning big. They actually experience 25% less turnover overall. Nearly 3/4 of millennials would trade other work benefits for flexible workspace options. And unfortunately, there's no ignoring them anymore. Millennials are the largest generation working today. Our team is hearing a strong demand from our customers who want to embrace these workplace trends using technology that empowers employees to do their best work. Getting to a teamwork-based organization that functions virtually as well as it does in shared physical space, though, is full of technical and cultural challenges. Collaboration on key files has become unwieldy, especially when we try to involve external contributors. Employees using third-party apps for chatting and file sharing cause security concerns. Finding the information and connecting with the right resources to make smart, efficient decisions is increasingly challenging as companies disperse to remote working environments. And finally, these bring your own device policies are making it difficult to streamline installation and use company-approved platforms. When we talk to managers, they tell us that they don't have the right tools to embrace virtual workplace. Small and mid-sized businesses are constantly trying to do more with less. They need to get work done from anywhere, but still maintain that sense of order they're accustomed to in a physical work location. They want to make work easier, make employees more productive, and make security a worry of the past, but they just don't know how. The way in which we work has evolved. Both work styles and the workforce are becoming more and more diverse. When people collaborate today, they leverage social tools. 45% of workers use social technologies in their day-to-day work. Users are also working across more devices. In the past 5 years, the number of devices per user has actually increased 400%. And of course, the mobile phone has completely changed how we communicate and work. Many users live on their phone, jumping from app to app and service to service throughout the day. The workforce itself is also more diverse. For the first time, there are 5 generations together in the workplace, all with different backgrounds in technology and different expectations about communication and collaboration. Some people are comfortable chatting on a phone, others prefer email or face-to-face. And while this is definitely still a surprise to me, some people are actually texting for business too. Teams are increasingly geo-distributed. Employees are no longer in the same time zone, let alone the same office. And research anticipates that nearly 3/4 of employees will be working remotely by 2020, making it that much more challenging to have face-to-face conversations. There's a movement towards transparency and inclusivity in how decisions are made. Organizational structures are becoming more flat. People work on twice as many teams as they did 5 years ago. In fact, workers report that 80% of their time at work is actually spent collaborating with others. Enter Microsoft Teams, a tool that will revolutionize how you communicate and collaborate every day. Microsoft Teams is a hub for teamwork, a chat-based workspace that enables teams to be more productive with a single, secure venue that brings together everything a team needs: chats, meetings, calls, files, and tools. Teams aims to deliver on 4 core promises to create a digital workspace for high-performing teams. First, Microsoft Teams solves for the communication needs of a diverse workforce. Microsoft Teams has evolved to include a complete meetings experience that includes chat, voice, and video. And in fact, as you figured out by now, we're actually using Microsoft Teams for this live event. You can use Teams for informal one-on-one or group chats directly on your cell phone if you're on the go, or you can have an open conversation in a channel. This enables people to share information transparently, to accelerate decision-making, and it's super easy to move from a chat into a face-to-face video meeting, helping you to bridge geographical barriers. When it comes to collaboration, the deep Office 365 integration enables today's multi-generational workforce to use the Office apps they already know and love: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, Planner, and even Power BI right within the Teams interface. Today, when you want someone's feedback, you send them the file via email, they store it locally with comments, you store it again, and it's a vicious cycle that results in V2, V3, V4. And you have to jump between email and other apps to get that work done. Microsoft Teams brings all of those Office 365 services together so that you can easily share and co-author files without the need for email attachments. I know it's hard to believe, but many companies are using non-Microsoft apps and services too. Team members are jumping between disparate experiences, which further decreases their efficiency. Microsoft created Teams as a hub for Office 365 and other services and tools that your team uses on a day-to-day basis. So you can customize Teams with tabs, connectors, and bots to include the apps and services you need. There are actually 150 to 200 integrations available already for everything from social tools to email marketing to project management, and even accounting, so that you can use those applications right inside of Teams as well. If there are any techies or coders on the call, there's also an extensible platform you can use to build your own connectors for Teams. And of course, Microsoft Teams comes with the enterprise-grade security, compliance, and manageability that you expect from Office 365. Microsoft Teams provides a shared workspace that enables teams to communicate without effort through chats across organizational and geographical boundaries. Chats are threaded, persistent, and contextual, allowing everybody to stay in the know and easily understand the context of the conversation. Today, teams are dynamic. Members, roles, priorities, and goals can change, resulting in different communication needs. In Teams, people can choose how they want to communicate. They can engage in private one-on-one chats, in group chats, or even in team conversations that are visible to everyone. These team conversations are open by default. Working out in the open has a transformative effect on the culture of a team and helps organizations move from personal to team productivity. Microsoft has recently added guest access as well. So now you can chat with folks on your team, even if they're an outside partner, customer, vendor, what have you. And what we're finding at Synact is that Teams allows us to have fun together. So we have an opportunity to communicate about topics other than work. For example, when someone joins the team, gets a new dog, breaks the garbage disposal, you have that opportunity to leverage Microsoft Teams like the old water cooler. You can get to know people beyond work interactions, which creates a culture of teamwork. Plus, Microsoft Teams allows people to use emojis and memes and GIFs and other fun graphics as part of their messaging, and that allows them to show their personality and humanize the work experience a little bit more. This is increasingly important as we're not sharing physical space. All of your common tools, the Office apps that people use every day, and those apps that are beyond the Microsoft suite are built in, giving people access to the files and tools they need right inside of Microsoft Teams. Users can actually share, co-author, and edit Office files right in the app. So it really becomes almost like your physical desk. This is the hub that you're going to get all of your work done in throughout the day. This ultimately democratizes the knowledge and gives everybody access to information they need to get their work done anytime they need it. You can take notes with OneNote, you can share files and edit in real time, and even integrate your calendar from Outlook. Every group is unique, both in structure and in style. So Microsoft has made it easy for teams to tailor their workspace to their needs and to include apps and services that are relevant to their specific team or project. So you can set up your channels in Teams so that conversations on certain topics happen in designated spaces. For example, we actually have our marketing director sharing our social posts every day at Synact. Every day we get a post in a channel dedicated to social posts with a link to the LinkedIn post, the Facebook post, the Twitter post, and so on and so forth. So the rest of the team can very easily share that on a daily basis. You can pin important files for quick reference to the whole team to access them in just one click. We're a pretty small team, so we don't use a special application for expense reporting, as an example. We're using Excel. So we share that file through Teams, and everybody adds their monthly expenses to the file. It makes it super easy for us to approve and pay out any reimbursements that are due. You can also add intelligent bots to interact with Microsoft Teams. So these bots that are made available can actually answer natural language questions and perform lightweight tasks such as FAQs about the Teams app itself, or perhaps looking up a contact, which they might pull from Outlook, or they might pull it from Dynamics, or another application that your team is using. Finally, Microsoft Teams provides industry-leading security and compliance capabilities and rich management capabilities so that you can see what your team is doing throughout the day. If you're in a supervisory or management role, these tools are going to allow you to see who's making calls, who's chatting, what kinds of work is getting done, who's participating in what conversations, and so on and so forth. As part of the Office 365 ecosystem, this nonstop data collection gives you powerful information about how your team works. Microsoft recently announced that Teams is becoming the core communications client in Office 365. This means that for those of you using Skype for Business or Skype for Business Online, you need to know that it'll be retired at the end of July 2021. Any new Office 365 customers are onboarded directly to Teams as of September 1st. So with an official end date in sight for Skype, it's important to start preparing your team for the change if you're using those older applications. Microsoft started to bring all the capabilities that were built into Skype into Teams to make collaboration even richer and more dynamic. And it's actually supported by a new back-end infrastructure that's more reliable, more consistent, and as I said, has many more features and benefits. They're harnessing the power of artificial intelligence and cognitive services to transform calling and meeting experiences and to bring the vision of intelligent communications to light. So think about a traditional team meeting that takes place in a video call in your organization instead of a face-to-face conference room scenario. What if before a call, technology could prepare you by offering insights about the people you're talking to and the projects you're talking about? What if during the call, technology could help connect everyone, accounting for diverse languages, visual and hearing impairments, and even alleviate a noisy background environment? And then what if after that call, the technology could do the heavy lifting of sending out notes and action items? These are all possibilities with Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams, if we dive into the meetings scenario a little bit more, offers a complete solution that supports sharing, video, and audio conferencing. You can use Teams for informal one-on-one or ad hoc group chats, and Teams supports scheduling with your calendar for availability and what have you. Teams is available across mobile, desktop, and browser, and it's integrated with communications and meeting room devices, which provides a frictionless experience for your team members. I know at Synact, we are using a combination of desktops and mobile at any given time. If folks are on the road, they can join a meeting or send a chat or communicate directly in their Teams app on their mobile. We all chuckle every once in a while because I will join while driving, which may not be the safest thing, but it does happen. After a meeting, team members can then access recordings of the meetings. Those meetings can be transcribed and translated depending on who needs to consume that information. And everything is then indexed so that people can search for content relevant to them, even if it took place in a conversation. Microsoft Teams also offers a reliable cloud-based calling solution that can replace your legacy phone system. Replacing your traditional phones with Teams cuts costs, reduces hardware dependencies, and leverages the power of the Microsoft Cloud. The base for this calling is the Microsoft Phone System, which is a fully integrated software-based PBX inside of Microsoft Teams. It actually allows you to have enterprise phone features for all of your 365 users and manage their telephony completely in the cloud. So obviously this makes adding a new employee, expansion, phone management, all that simpler because it's managed in that Office 365 admin portal. There are organizations who choose to go completely web-based, which means they're calling through the app on their browser and using their microphone and speaker on their computer, or they're downloading the mobile app to their phone and calling and receiving calls through that app as opposed to using a traditional desktop phone. That being said, you can also leverage the power of Microsoft Teams in combination with your desktop phones. So it's not as if those hardware investments are totally wasted. We all know that people are generally accustomed to using a desktop phone even these days with the millennials taking over. Synact actually has already made the move, as has Microsoft. So we've had a really positive experience there. So that's at a high level, some of the information we wanted to talk about with regards to Teams. Hopefully that gave you a great sense of what the capabilities are. And what I want to show you quickly here is actually a way for you to experience Microsoft Teams in an interactive demo format. So Microsoft has made available teamsdemo.office.com, which anybody has access to. So you don't have to register for this. You don't have to put your name and email in, but you can actually go in and interact with a Teams application. So I'm going to kind of show you how that works here so that you can take a few minutes at some point when you have time and give it a try. So again, just use any browser and navigate to teamsdemo.office.com, and it's going to prompt you with this screen that says, let's get started. And so what this is actually going to do is it's going to walk you through all of the core functionality in Microsoft Teams, but not just show it to you like I could do while we're sitting on this call, but rather allow you to play with it a little bit and actually experience it. So I'm going to go through the first couple steps with you so that you get a sense for it. Ultimately, it's going to tell you what each of these features is for and how to navigate to what you need. It'll give you a little description indicating that these are our current teams and these are places where we can kind of bring together people in the organization. It's going to take us through channels and talk about why, how to use channels, and then jump you into a chat window and start to show you how exactly chats can happen. So you can see it's kind of guiding you through all of the steps you need to know to kind of get comfortable with this as an application in your organization. But then what gets really fun is it prompts you to try it yourself. So I can click next here, and now I can actually interact with these bots as if we're all in the same organization. So I'm just going to type, good morning, we're having fun with a webinar on Teams. And we can actually wait and see those responses here. So you'll see that this most recent chat is actually asking someone to take a look at the spreadsheet. So they've provided a link to that spreadsheet right here in the window, and I can click into that and see the details of the spreadsheet. They're asking me for my thoughts, so I can actually reply in the window. I love design. Design 3 is not there. I love design 2, right? And there's my chat. So this is actually one of the better demos that I've seen in the marketplace for these new tools, because it really is allowing you to engage in a different kind of way. I'm not going to go through every step of this. Like I said, this is free and open and available to you. I really encourage you to take a little time, take 15 minutes and walk through what Microsoft has made available. And if you stumble across questions or concerns, if you want to learn more, if you want to talk more specifically about how Teams can be leveraged in your environment, Synact is here ready and able to answer your questions and help guide your organization in adoption of this really fantastic, very modern platform. So with that, I will take questions if there are any from the participants in the webinar. Someone's asking about the video quality with Microsoft Teams, and they mentioned that they'd had some previously negative experiences with Skype. Overall, I also used to use Skype, and I find the video clarity to be excellent. I will say that depending on the quality of your hardware, meaning your video camera on your computer, your microphone and speakers on your computer, that will change the experience a little bit. But on our team, we all have laptops that are about a year old or less, and honestly, the quality is definitely there. It's crystal clear from what we can see. I'll also say that we haven't had trouble with buffering or download upload speeds. Everything is really in real time. We have not had any trouble at all with quality. That's a great, someone asked actually how they can contact us. So I'm gonna just throw our contact information up here. We are a Microsoft partner here in Rochester. We have a small team of 6, and we have, of course, fallen head over heels in love for Microsoft Teams as part of our daily work. Our core business is developing and implementing Dynamics 365, which is also a Microsoft application. It is their core CRM and business management platform that we customize for our clients. And we're a little different in that way, in that marketplace, because we implement an all-inclusive service and support model. So I just threw up our contact information here on the page. You'll see Jordan's email address there. She's our director of marketing, and she'll definitely get you in touch with the right people on our team, and then our direct line there as well. Any other questions? Well, again, I don't want to keep everybody hanging on. We are going to make this content available for download or live viewing after the webinar. As I said, I encourage you to go to that Teams demo, and let me jump back to that so you get that link. You have one more chance of grabbing that link, teamsdemo.office.com. It's like I said, free to use, so definitely engage with that. And then if you have any other questions or if there's ways that we can help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Someone asked the question, just lastly, how do we use Teams for webinars like we are doing right now? Microsoft Teams has a tool called Live Event. So it functions a little differently than kind of an ad hoc meeting that you'd have with your employees or your customers. You set up a live event, you have a producer and a presenter. And then what's really great is you can actually see your various, the number of attendees who are joining. You can manage Q&A. The event is automatically recorded so that you can share it later. And we've done a few webinars this way already, and it's been a really nice tool. Someone asked about the cost. So Microsoft Teams is part of Office 365. Depending on the Office 365 license that you have today for your users, it may or may not be included. So for example, there's a Microsoft Office 365 license that only includes email, okay? It's the least expensive option on their menu, so to speak, and that does not include Microsoft Teams. However, I do believe that the least expensive option that includes Teams is only $5 per user per month. They are really trying to make this wholly available to folks kind of across the board. There's also a free version. It doesn't come with all the features and benefits, as you can imagine, but that is a great way to kind of get started and use it for some of the basic tools. Someone asked if Teams and Skype for Business contacts can interact. Microsoft is doing their best to accommodate for that, is the best answer I can give you. There's both external access and guest access available in the Teams application. So there are ways to make yourself, or I should say your domain, accessible to others so that you can interact with them. But in some scenarios, they may need to also allow you to interact with them. So there are settings in the admin panel that have to be controlled. It's not by default allowing a totally open experience, kind of like the old personal Skype, if that makes sense. All right, well, those are great questions. Thanks so much for the engagement and for participating today. Like I said, I really hope that this provided you with a good intro to Microsoft Teams, but we are more than happy to chat in more detail about your organization and how you might benefit. So don't hesitate to reach out, and we hope to see you again in one of our webinars in the Business Without Barriers series.